Shall we begin?
Why not? Welcome to FrankieSense More. It's like she's got a whole lot of goodness for you with a little bit of sass.
Frankie, did you just say...
She sure did. Not to mention, along with...
Whoops.
Join us now as Frankie Picasso and her new co-host mix it up with authors, musicians, and interviews with world-changing people.
Let's begin now.
Okay, let's begin now, because it only makes sense.
Well, welcome to a very special FrankieSense More. Today we have with us the producer, director, writer, and one of the actors from the movie The Wisdom Tree, as well as the Good Radio's own movie correspondent, Brent Marchant. Sunil Shah, Renu Vora, and a little bit later, Sheetal Sheth will be joining us. But it was Brent who first brought my attention to the film The Wisdom Tree, and his review of it on the Good Radio Network website piqued my interest. As a metaphysical hypnotherapist, animal communicator, past life regressionist, the blend of science and mysticism and Eastern philosophy that occur within the film themes are ones that I personally find appealing. And with Brent's enthusiastic review of the topic, we thought, maybe instead of bringing you this week's movie review, that we would actually bring the movie experience to you. With us today, Sunil Shah is the writer and director of the film. He was born in India and now lives in San Francisco Bay Area. He left a well-established career in technology a few years ago to pursue his passion for filmmaking. And in this, his directorial debut of a feature film, he was able to weave his 20-plus years of studying philosophy, mysticism, and science into a film that questions reality in a way that doesn't put his audience to sleep. So well done on that. Renu Vora is a film producer, editor, user experience designer who co-produced The Wisdom Tree, and she has worked with numerous artists and technicians spanning 3 continents. In addition, she's edited over 20 films, which also include this feature film, and promotional and corporate films. And for over 10 years, she has worked in the graphic arts and visual design and multimedia expertise to a variety of clients, including entertainment networks and tech companies. We all know Brent. He comes on every week, or every month, I should say. He's the author of three books on consciousness, and we welcome all of you to the show today. Hello.
Thank you, Frankie.
Yeah, so nice to have you. It's really a wonderful film. I want to congratulate you on that. And
thank you.
Really, really deep, heavy, fun topics.
Yes.
Yes. That's true, but I'm glad that you liked it, and that's good to know. Yes, absolutely. It's an interesting film. It tries to cover a lot. It's a different film, I would say, in every aspect. But yeah, we will discuss more about it.
It definitely covers. It definitely covers a lot. So what? You have this passion for filmmaking. You worked in tech for many, many years. What was the time right just now for you to make that move? And what was your motivation for making the film?
Yes. I'm an engineer, and I've been involved with tech companies or with technology for many, many years. Having said that, I've been passionate about 2 things. One is filmmaking as an art form. Mm-hmm. And second thing is science, mainly physics, and Eastern mysticism and spirituality. So it was just purely out of passion. I've been reading and understanding and try to grab every book I can get my hand on. And it was a passion. And at one point, I realized, I felt strongly that there are some interesting parallels between modern science, particularly quantum physics and Eastern mysticism. And a lot of people are not aware about it. There are some good books, great books written, but still vast majority of audience or people out there are not aware about it. So it just happened coincidentally. I combined my passion of filmmaking, but the idea was to take this message to as wider an audience as possible. And I thought instead of a documentary, which could be similar to a book, rather than having a documentary, if I go about creating a fiction with real characters and how their lives are impacted when they face these ultimate truth or the true nature of reality when they face. And that was the main motivation. And I think I would say that was the only motivation, spreading the word, spreading the message. And
I know Brent has a question about that. Brent?
Yeah.
Well, I was really amazed at how well that the two disciplines were so seamlessly work together between science and mysticism, and it's almost as if they come across like two sides of the same coin, and I think that's really important. And this film really gets that point across so well. Was there anything in particular that you felt you needed to do in order to be able to bring that kind of seamless blend together to make it accessible and also understandable by the audience?
Yes, that's a great question. It was a huge challenge. I mean, to build characters, to build a story, and to bring in science and art and music and mysticism, all these different aspects, and to make sure that there is no injustice to any one of them, be it science or spirituality or mysticism. So, and in a 2-hour film, that's really a difficult task. I had to write and rewrite for many times to arrive at a point where I felt there is ample balance. At the same time, there are enough things said. There are enough things which are covered, and then there are things which are subtle and indirect. I didn't want to make it a very verbal film where it explains everything. Mm-hmm. For me, it was very critical that it becomes an experience. Yes, there is a plot and there is flow of information in the film, so it needed dialogues and whatnot, but more than that, an experience where when you leave the theater, you don't know where you are, or you don't know who you are. You start questioning yourself. So the film doesn't answer everything, and there is no need to answer everything. It could put somebody on a journey, or if they are already on a journey, it can give it a boost. And I think, to come back to your question, yes, it was a difficult task for anyone. Nothing specific about me. Mm-hmm. Handling these subjects and bringing them together. And there are enough people who are not willing to accept the fact that science and spirituality can have anything in common. Or they could be, as you said, two sides of the same coin. So it was a balancing act. Yeah.
Renu, how obviously you got involved with this project and you edited this movie, I believe. How excited were you about the topic and the theme, and did you think that it would be something that moviegoers would go to?
Obviously, I mean, it's. I was very happy or excited, thrilled to be part of something so amazingly, beautifully created project. Mm-hmm. I am not one of the niche audience of this film, so I don't understand this. But what I saw was the conviction, the passion that Sunil mm-hmm. had. He knew these subjects. He knew exactly what he wanted in terms of all the creative aspects of what he wanted to clear. He had a very clear vision, and most importantly, amazingly unwavering passion to make this happen. So I was definitely very excited. I'm truly blessed to be part of this project.
That's terrific. Where is it playing right now, or where could people watch this movie?
Oh, that's a good question. So, we've actually done a theatrical screening, kind of followed a demand on theater model, but finally now so that was limited to where it would screen. Mm-hmm. That people from local place could go watch it. But fortunately, now we are at a place where the film is available worldwide on DVD, Blu-ray, and digital HD. So they could go to our website, film's website, which is thewisdomtreefilm.com,
Yeah.
and they can find more about it, and as well as watch the film right from there.
I know one of Brent's questions and my question, if you don't mind, Brent, I'm just going to bring it up because I'm curious. There's quite a few books and texts that are mentioned in the film, and that one book is shown, many times over. I wonder how book sales will rise as people watch the film. And I wonder if you're going to track any of that.
Oh, okay. So all the books, or there were some journals in the film, and they are not real books. They were just created by us.
Oh, okay.
They were part of the script. The book titles or journals and covers and everything was designed by our team. So yeah, the short answer is there is no real book. So yeah, they are not real books. Yeah.
Brent, I guess it begs the question then, what book did inspire you to do the movie?
The first book I would say I read probably 25 years ago, 20 plus years ago, was Fritjof Capra's The Tao of Physics. I think that was probably one of the first books which came out in 1970s sometime. He's a physicist, and he studied Eastern mysticism for years. He was at Berkeley at that time, University of Berkeley, and he wrote this book. And then there are many, many amazing books. Gary Zukau's Dancing Woolly Masters, Quantum Enigma. I don't remember the name of the authors, but they both were professors at UC Santa Cruz. Both again physicists. And there have been a number of books, I would say 30, 40 books, maybe more. Dr. Amit Goswami's books.
Well, we're going to go to commercial break, Sunil, so I'm going to stop you right there. Maybe think of a few more when we come back. But everyone, just stay tuned, stay close. We are going to come back with Brent, Sunil, and Renu. And in a few minutes, we're going to also meet Sheetal. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Heck no, we're just getting warmed up. FrankieSense and More will be right back after we pay the bills.
It's the Fitness Minute with fitness expert Annette Hammond.
Soups are often included in healthy, low-calorie diet plans. But as with most foods, the calories and nutritional value can be very diverse. A typical bowl of soup has 2 cups and can range from 75 calories for a bowl of gazpacho to over 600 calories for some chowders. Research shows that many soups are very high in sodium. When tested, the results showed that 99% of the supposedly healthy and light soups contain salt above the daily recommended level. When choosing soups, go for the broth and water-based varieties. In general, the more water a soup contains, the less calories. Skip cream-based soups that are full of fat. It is always best to order a cup of soup rather than a bowl. Keep your quantity small and your calories low. For the Fitness Minute, I'm Annette Hammond.
It's words you never heard.
Well, the U.S. sure has experienced torrential thunderstorms, lightning, and flooding recently. Thunderstorms, otherwise known as cockeyed bobs, can be pretty scary. What's the fear of thunder and lightning called? Astrophobia. Years ago, Roy Sullivan, a Virginia Park ranger, was struck by lightning 7 different times and lived to tell about it. Lightning struck his head through his hat, set his hair on fire, and burned his eyebrows off. The current from the lightning traveled through both legs and blew his shoes off. The final lightning bolt hit him while fishing, and he was hospitalized for chest and stomach burns. Believe it or not, Roy Sullivan managed to recover from 7 lightning strikes, but later died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound as a result of loneliness, otherwise known as azygophrenia.
It's words you never heard.
I'm Carolyn Davidson, and you can have fun challenging your words you never heard vocabulary with my free app, Too Funny for Words.
And welcome back We're listening to FrankieSense More. It's a very special edition. We're at the movies today, and we are at the movies with The Wisdom Tree, the writer, the producer, and the director. And shortly we are going to meet Sheetal Sheth, and she is the actor who just so beautifully played one of the lead roles in the movie. Brent, how about you start off with a question?
Sure. To pick up on what you were just talking about in terms of the books that you inspired the movie, I was wondering if there were any other films with metaphysical themes that inspired you to bring this work to the forefront.
Good question.
So the films which I got most inspired by, and Wisdom Tree is not on those lines, are they are very different than what the Wisdom Tree is about. But my inspiration mainly has been films by Russian director Andrei Tarkovsky. All his films are beautiful pieces of art, and spirituality is embedded in every film. Every film he has made. He has made, I think, 7 or 8 films. These films have a very deep impact on me. I watched them first time probably 20 years ago, and I watched them many times after that. Terrence Malick's work here in USA, Tree of Life, and his other films are definitely an inspiration. Again, they are different in the senses. Wisdom Tree is very plot-driven sci-fi mystery, while this director's films are not so. But having said that, take film as a medium, as an art medium, not as a commercial medium, and then subtly make audience experience spirituality or wider truth, or what is beyond our day-to-day lives. There are much deeper things. So I would say my inspirations have been some of these directors and their work.
How long did it take to make this movie, Renu?
So Sunil can talk how long it took him to write the script, but I'll speak from the production point of view.
Yeah, from production.
Yeah, so from production point of view, it took us about 3 years of, from the very early development stage to the pre-production and production and post-production. So that was about 3 years of production, and then about 2 years of, theatrical distribution. And we are now here with the DVD.
Yeah. Well, obviously you had to raise money, I guess, unless you used your own money. But I mean, you still have actors to pay, and like you created books for the movie, and fake FBI badges and things like that. What does a project like that cost? I know it was low budget. You did a low budget.
Yes, ours was, so The Wisdom Tree is actually a very ultra low budget. When you see the movie, you wouldn't actually feel it, right. Because of the quality of the production, the visuals, the sound, the music, sound design, everything, acting, or the visuals and graphics. It's just amazingly beautifully done, but it is an ultra low budget. And of course we invested our own money, but it couldn't have been done in that. So yes, we had to raise the money, and that was a huge challenge to, when we first started, and it took us more than what we had anticipated. So the whole cycle of filmmaking did get longer, but sorry, go ahead.
No, I just love the idea of, independent film and not having to follow a Hollywood, formula. And so I was, hoping to encourage other independent filmmakers, but I was just kind of curious what kind of a budget a film, even a low budget film, costs to make. That's all. I mean, were you able to get cars from car dealers for free?
So a lot of people came on board to help. I mean, we are just amazed and humbled by the generosity of friends and family and investors and cast and crew and the whole team, people volunteered with their time, with whatever they could. Yes, cars did get donated. A lot of things. Homes did get donated for locations. Lots of things. But of course, not everything came in as as so. Yes, and I mean, if you look at it, I mean, the film So this film was about 32 days of production.
Okay.
About 26 or 28 locations. That's really unusual for an indie film. We were all going to a new location each day, and there's
Did you stay in California or did you go outside?
The whole film was shot in Northern California. So in and around San Francisco Bay Area is where we shot.
Okay. It's very pretty.
Thank you. Yeah, our locations team and everyone did amazing job. Our goal was to how do we facilitate what director Sunil's vision was, and which was very grand, very ambitious for an indie. And then within that, so not only from the creative aspects, but everything. So how do we help facilitate this within our limited resources? So yeah,
very good job. Good job.
Thank you, Frankie. Yes, we are very proud of the team. Everyone worked really hard, really long to make this, amazingly beautiful, multi-layered film.
Yeah, it's difficult, and you did it well. Brent, I know that you have lots of thoughts on this film.
Well, certainly, yes. In terms of speaking of looking just beautiful, one thing that I was really impressed with the movie was the quality of the special effects. They're not necessarily a huge part of the film, but what appears there is just stunningly beautiful. And I would really love to see this movie on a big screen at some point, because I've only seen it on DVD so far. But what I have seen is really quite impressive. Can you tell us a little bit more about what went into the creation of the special effects for the film?
Yes, sure. So there were two aspects. I would say three aspects. As you know, there were quite a few computer screens, so graphics were designed. Some of them were designed beforehand, and some were part of the post-production. There were a few visual effects, rain and water in river, and a couple of other things. And then there were a lot of animations and graphics. Now please keep in mind, we had an extremely low budget. We didn't have money to create all those things.
You wouldn't guess that from the way it looked. It was really top notch.
Yeah.
No, to elaborate on what Renu said, we virtually fought for every dollar throughout the journey, throughout 3-4 years of this thing. Having said that, we were very sure about one thing: we'll not compromise on the quality as much as possible. So because we didn't have enough money, the only other way was to go around is let's take more time if need be. So we went, for example, some of the animations were created in Germany and Hungary. So I haven't met them even today. We are good friends. We talk over the phone.
Sure.
But over the web, I found the best artists who were willing to help us out with our limited budget. So, and some of the post-production visual effects were done. We went to 15 different places for post-production in Northern California, LA, Europe, and parts of it were done in India. And as far as sound design and mix is concerned, we are fortunate. Lucas Films, they helped us out, and we got their Studio Skywalker sound for for many months. And their talent, their Oscar level winner sound mixers, and that great team. And music composer. And I mean, we took ample time to find the right person. A, the criteria was the person must have the qualifications, and B, the person is not part of the film to make money, because there was no money. There was hardly any money. The person is there because of pure passion. The person believes in something and wants to contribute. And that helped us a lot. I rejected a few people. They were good, but I didn't find them to be the right match for this project. For example, there were people who were supposed to finish something in 30 days, and we had committed some money for 30 days. And sometimes they came back after 30 days that if you give me 30 more days, I'll not charge you anything, but I want to improvise on what I already did. And there are many, many cases where people spend more time, energy. They brought in other people. They got the film reviewed by other experts and whatnot. Initially, our plan was to have post-production done in, I think, 12 months to 15 months. It took us, I think, more than 13 months purely because of passion and it just evolved.
Well, I guess it says a lot about the two of you that you're able to get people on board who are, who will donate because of a passion for a topic and a passion for, even the two of you and the vision and a belief that a film like this is necessary. That a film like this is going to maybe change, people in a real way. We are going to go to a commercial break in just a minute, but we still have a minute, so carry on.
Sure.
Yeah, no, that's very true, Frankie. You put it really well. All these amazingly talented crew and cast and everyone who came on board, they purely came in because they loved the script, they loved the concept, and they believed in the project, and they also wanted to be part of, creating something that was so meaningful, so thought-provoking. All these Oscar Award nominations or, VES Award winners and
sure. Yeah.
So it's been, yes, you're very right. It was purely the script and the concept.
We're going to go out on that note. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. The Wisdom Tree. We're talking to the crew, producer, writer, and director, and actors from the Wisdom Tree.
Is that all you got? Heck no. We're just getting warmed up. Frankie Sense and More will be right back after we pay the bills.
It's the Fitness Minute with fitness expert Annette Hammond.
I would love to see you devote an hour a day to exercise. But did you know that even 30 minutes a day can lead to enormous benefits? The Mayo Clinic lists some of these benefits as being lower blood pressure, improved cholesterol and lower triglyceride levels, helps prevent and manage type 2 diabetes, helps manage weight, prevents osteoporosis, helps prevent cancer, maintains mental well-being by reducing stress and improving depression, and increases energy and stamina. Research has shown that simply walking at a brisk pace for 30 minutes or more on most days can lead to significant health improvements. By adding resistance and strength exercises 2 or 3 times a week, the benefits are even greater. So even when you don't have an hour for exercise, just moderately work out for 30 minutes and watch the benefits come to you. I'm Annette Hammond.
It's merging never heard.
There's nothing like a high-profile court case to grab our attention. My mother was a court reporter, and she would frequently share funny things that happened during a trial. An easygoing judge would often let off the popinjays or repeat offenders. My mother would sometimes whisper to the judge, "He'll never learn if you keep letting him off." Once in a while, the judge would reconsider and order the popinjay to the calaboose or jail. The court reporter records everything, including funny and embarrassing statements made by witnesses. Here's a statement made by a defendant accused of theft. "Did you get a good look at my face when I took your purse?" What's a word for the natural tendency to put your foot in your mouth? Dontopodology.
It's merging never heard.
I'm Carolyn Davidson, and you can have fun challenging your words you never heard vocabulary with my free app, Too Funny for Words.
And we're back Welcome back to FrankieSense More. I am your host, Frankie Picasso, and today we have, again, the folks from the Wisdom Tree. We brought the movies to you. Instead of Brent giving us a review, we brought everybody here. And with us now is the actress who lit up the screen in this movie, Sheetal Sheth. She might be best known for starring opposite Albert Brooks in Looking for Comedy in the Muslim World, but this stunning, beautifully, she's East Indian, American actress has become a favorite in the independent film world. She starred in over 18 feature films and has earned herself a loyal following. She's won 3 Best Actress nods in the festival circuit for The World Unseen and Wings of Hope, with a former premiering at the Toronto Film Festival, where I live, and going on to win 11 SAFTAs, the South African equivalent to the Oscars. And in 2012, fans voted her favorite movie actress in After Ellen's Visibility Awards. Welcome to the show, Sheetal.
Thank you so much. What a nice welcome.
And I mean it. You lit up the screen. I'm sure you light up the screen everywhere you go, but the movie's going along. It is a little slow at the beginning, and then boom, there you are, and everybody's like, oh, now we're interested. Okay.
Well, that's very nice, but I think it's more just because the subject matter is so rich that I think just kind of taking it all in takes a minute. At least for me, it was like that when I read the script, every day working on it and then watching the film. It just, you have to kind of layer it into you, I think.
I think so. Sunil, I think I read at the beginning that it was intentionally slow. You wanted it to be slow. Were you ever afraid of losing an audience, though, with the speed of it? Or did you think that you needed that in order for them to grasp concept after concept?
Yes, I was worried. Yes, that's true. Having said that, it was very critical. Had it been a fast-moving drama, I mean, there was no way to put so many things. There are so many. I mean, as I just told you, that there are things which are very explicit, but tons of things are subtle, symbolic, indirect, and to let audience experience that, it was extremely critical, the way camera moves or the way it was lighted or the way music plays, sound and music, and the way actors, the way you see characters and actors on the screen. So it was all done, it was all planned and done that way. And I agree, it's slow, but probably there was no other way to go around it.
Brent?
One of the things I was really impressed with in this film, compared to a lot of other films that deal with subject matter like this, is that you wove in the concepts so unobtrusively. A lot of other movies that have tried to get into some of these subjects, they end up having to do kind of like very awkward pauses to explain themselves. And with this particular film, I didn't really see much of that. It was woven in very, very naturally. And I think that's really important because that helps to, get viewers more engaged. Do you want to comment on that a little bit further?
Yes, sure. So the one challenge throughout was there is information, there are these scientific theories and whatnot, which it was safe to assume that most of the viewers do not know about. But then if you start talking about them one after another, it becomes a documentary. Mm-hmm. So the idea was to give enough. This could be your, if somebody, let's say someone is not aware about either quantum physics or Eastern mysticism or all these interdisciplinary possibilities. For this person, this is just 101. I mean, they would get introduced, and that is sufficient, I think. It's just a start. It could be start of a journey. That was the goal. The goal was not to make you an expert when you walk out of the film and throw a lot of things. In spite of that goal, when I watch it today, I still feel there are scenes which are really loaded with dialogues and theories. If I were to make it today, I would make it even subtler than what the film is. So there was a balancing act at every scene for everything. And that's where the film being slow really helps. It makes you think, it gives you those natural pauses where the viewer could think for a second, what the hell is going on? Because throughout the film, there are layers of mysteries, and there are more layers of mysteries, and too many things are happening. So sound, music, and all these things really help build that, where you are. One of the viewers told us that thank you for trusting our intelligence, because most Hollywood films, sci-fis, they would control your mind for 2 hours. They control your mind. They want you to think in certain way only. While the wisdom tree, on the other hand, says, hey, even we don't know the answers. Probably nobody knows the answers. You explore. It's a journey we are taking together, and you explore and try to find out. And we are absolutely not controlling your mind. We are just telling you something, but there is no intention of converting you into believing something.
So talk about converting, Sheetal. When you first came on board, how much did you know about this stuff, the metaphysical
Very little. I mean, very little. I was always kind of intrigued by it, and I had seen certain things, read.
You probably read The Secret or something.
Yeah, right. So certainly it's come up in conversation at a very basic level.
Right.
Nothing to this extent. And so when I read the script, there was definitely a lot of just kind of unpacking and understanding, especially because my character seems to know more than most.
Yeah, she knew everything. She never got like flustered. She's like, oh yes,
right. So
there are different realities.
Kind
of course there are.
Right. Yeah, it was just kind of second nature to her. So in order to kind of pull that off, I really had to understand it, and I can't, deliver lines that I don't understand. Period.
Sure.
So there was a lot of questions and constant kind of just checking in with Sunil, and sometimes it was the same question a number of times, but it just took a while also for me to just kind of get it into me and layer it in and make it so that it would be second nature, because it's a lot to ingest.
Did you know Renu or Sunil before the film?
No, actually we met through the film. It's been such a pleasure getting to know them. I mean, we met during the film, and then, have become and stayed friends, and they're just great.
Yeah. So who picked you for the film? Renu, did you, who did the picking of the actors?
Oh, Sunil, that was writer-director Sunil Shah. So.
I want to add to what Sheetal said. Sheetal worked really hard. All the actors worked really hard, but Sheetal I remember, and she was the most experienced person or actor on the set. She had like tons of films, recognition, and but she really worked hard. She's extremely talented, and she was my first choice. I was not sure before we approached her that whether she would be interested in such a project, but fortunately she got interested, and I had that little bit of fear that she has 15 plus films behind her, and she's a well-known person, and but absolutely each person absolutely loved working with her, because she's an amazing person. She's an amazing actor, no doubt, but she's an amazing person.
How did you find the script? Yeah, that's really nice, really nice. Sheetal, how did you find the script as opposed to other scripts? I mean, Sunil's first real film that he wrote and directed. So the script itself, did you find anything different, or were you like, oh, this is great, I love it?
Yeah, no, I think, that's what attracted me to it, actually, is that as much as it was really a foreign language to me when you think about the content, right? It was different, and very challenging. And, for me, it also depends, there's different points in your life where you're going to be attracted to different things. And came at a point in my life, perfect timing kind of, where I was looking to do something different. And, I didn't understand it, like I said, but I wanted to. And I was fascinated. And the more I learned about it, the more I wanted to learn about it. And, obviously that's one aspect of it. It can't be, obviously you still need the right other things in place and the right team and the people to be able to pull that off. But, after talking to Sunil and kind of kind of having conversations, I felt more and more comfortable. And, I'd worked on a number of independent films. I love independent film. I think there's something really special about them and like no other. And so I think there's always a quality of heart behind a project like this, where everybody's doing it for the right reasons and because they want to tell the story more than anything. And so, I find, having worked in different level film and television, mediums, whether it be very small budgets or larger budgets, that at the end of the day, you can find that in all of those different scenarios. But generally speaking, when there's smaller budgets, people's hearts have to really be into things.
Yeah.
And so, everybody that came to set was grateful and interested and excited and committed. And I love that. I love that kind of energy. And so kind of all the misgivings of smaller films kind of fall to the side, because if you love what you do, that's what matters most.
Absolutely. That's great. I think you packaged that up very nicely. We're a minute to break, our last break of the show, and then we're going to come back. But just think about this maybe while you're on break. As an actor for this film, when you talk about the wisdom tree with people, what are you most excited to tell them about the film?
Okay. I have an answer for you, but I don't think
we'll talk
time.
about that. And Brent, do you have something that you want to bring up for when we come back too?
I sure do. One thing that I'm interested in finding out about is the role of the topic of healing in the storyline.
Good. Me too.
The topic of, what was that, Brent?
Healing.
The topic of healing.
Oh, okay.
Using the concepts that are explored in the film to help people heal themselves, because there's several characters in the film that are dealing with issues that need to be healed both physically and psychologically. So,
and we're off. We'll be right back.
Is that all you got? Heck no, we're just getting warmed up. FrankieSense and More will be right back after we pay the bill.
It's the Fitness Minute with fitness expert Annette Hammond.
Counting calories is important to losing weight and or maintaining your present weight. But are 500 calories from French fries the same as 500 calories of celery? Prevention Magazine tells us that not all calories are created equal. Even though the celery and French fries are the same amount of calories, the celery takes longer to digest and will keep you satisfied longer. Studies show that food that takes longer to chew can increase your calorie burn, and the quality of calories might matter more than the overall quantity. Those who ate a greater amount of certain unhealthy foods, like processed meat, French fries, and sugar-sweetened beverages, gained more weight faster over time than people who ate healthier foods, such as fruits, vegetables, nuts, and low-fat yogurt. For the Fitness Minute, I'm Annette Hammond.
It's words you never heard.
Here's some fun facts about noses and ears I'll bet you didn't know. Did you know your ears secrete more earwax when you're afraid than when you aren't? And generally, people with asthma have better hearing than those who don't. Now, here's a word for you. When someone gets their ears pierced, they're actually piercing their pinna. The pinna is the fleshy part of the earlobe. Did you know it's possible to sneeze so hard you can break a rib? That happened to my husband's secretary once. And according to research, you'll blow your nose 250 times this year. Scientists have also determined that the smell in your right nostril is more pleasant, while the smell in your left nostril is more accurate. By the way, twice as many men as women can wiggle their ears.
It's words you never heard.
I'm Carolyn Davidson, and you can have fun challenging your words you never heard vocabulary with my free app, Too Funny for Words.
We are back. We're in our final leg of this movie segment, a special edition of FrankieSense and More. And we had a couple of questions that we were going to ask when we came back. And so, Sheetal, let's start with you. When you talk about the film, family, friends, others, about the wisdom tree and your role, how do you explain this film to people?
I mean, it's one of those things where I'm not a big kind of, let's explain the film before I'm trying to get someone to see it, because I think, at least for me, when I go to see something, I kind of don't want to know too much and just have the experience for myself. I think people end up coloring and putting their own kind of point of view into a description even. But I think with this film, what's so beautiful about it is that it really it makes you open your mind up whether you want to or not. And so you have to kind of look at the world differently and more artistically and more spiritually and more, just with a lot more kind of heart. And especially nowadays, I think everybody needs a little bit more of that, frankly. And so I think just kind of, you can't help but kind of re-look at your life and the experiences you have up till now and then down the line without kind of applying what you've seen in the film to that idea, or, on a very small level, all the little moments that we've had of deja vu and coincidence and whatever you believe about that kind of stuff, this offers you a way of looking at it, a thought behind perhaps that, or something to consider. And I think that leaves you with something really special and unique.
I agree. And, you can't unknow what you just learned. So you open yourself up for that. So the healing, Brent, where did you want to go with that?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I liked about this movie is it presented so many different concepts that people could use in their lives in so many, many different ways in terms of how they experience life, what they want to do with it, and so forth. But one of the things that struck me as being most prominent is the idea of using these principles to help people heal themselves, be it physically or psychologically or in other ways. Could you comment a little bit about that further in terms of the importance of that to the film, the importance of that to you and getting that message across to people?
Yeah, sure. Healing again, explicitly and implicitly is a very big part of the film. So we have all this quantum physics and science today, cutting-edge science, telling us a lot of things which we were not aware about 100 years ago. And then Eastern mysticism and mysticism in general, and philosophy and spirituality. It tells us a lot of things. But what is the ultimate goal? So healing, both psychologically, as you said, rightfully, psychologically as well as physically are embedded in the film. Without giving away too much, if you look at the three lead characters, Steve, quantum physicist, is a close personality. He opens up as the film moves ahead. FBI agent is somebody who's also looking for truth. Steve Hamilton, physicist, is also looking for truth. He's trying to uncover. He's trying to solve some problems of physics. FBI agent is looking at things, but he himself has his own problems and demons he has to overcome. The third character, which is Sheetal Sheth's character, is very critical for the film. Here is one character who is a scientist, who's an artist, who's a singer, as a hobbyist. So there is art, there is science, and she's open to spirituality, in spite of being a scientist. So there was this confluence of three things the film deals with, which is science, art, and mysticism, in one character. And she is the guiding force. She heals Steve. She ends up healing. First time she meets Steve, she realizes the pain, the buried pain. She heals the FBI agent. But more importantly, she ends up healing everyone. By everyone, I mean audience here. She ends up showing that path without, again, saying in so many words. She's the guiding force where I can't say much, but the last scene of the film where, yes, there are ways and means where you can live without materialism, and you can have a very peaceful life. You can really heal. And if these principles are adopted across the world, all kind of problems would disappear. It's all greed and materialism. We all need materialistic things, but we are looking for way more than we need. And we have lost the concept of interconnectedness. With the film, film says again and again, everything is interconnected, conscious and subconscious, mind and body, left brain and right brain. These disciplines, art, music, science, geometrical patterns, they are all interwoven, interconnected. We all are interdependent. But unfortunately, the way where the world is today, people are moving away from each other, and that is causing a lot of problem. And in the film tries to portray those things and indirectly tries to heal. Indirectly, it heals. It helps healing those issues.
One other thing I wanted to pick up in line with that too is the idea that this film features the role of women and the divine feminine energy quite prominently, and mainly as a part to help bring about some of these changes that are very much needed in the world. The role of Trisha and even the role of Trisha's boss, Dr. Searles, as opposed to the role of her other supervisor, Dr. Armstrong, who comes across as this very conservative, old order, male energy sort of situation. Was that intended to be included symbolically through the presence of those characters in the film?
Yes, absolutely. If you look at all the female characters, even Steve's mother, a physicist, a renowned physicist, she does a lot of things and she becomes almost philosophical. And it is, again, another trait the film has is you can become a philosopher or spiritual person just by following quantum physics. Because ultimately there's different paths, science and spirituality are different paths to experience the same ultimate truth. But besides that, she's a pretty strong character. Sheetal said, obviously, Trisha's character is the strongest, and as I told you, confluence of all different energies and other characters in the film. It was kind of, for thousands of years, maybe the world has moved in certain wrong direction. It's time to correct, and it is being corrected, but it's still going to take a long time, where it is still, in our belief system, it is still there that men are superior to women. And this was an opportunity for me to subtly my small contribution to subtly send that message. No, women are guiding forces. They can guide, they can lead, they can think. Unfortunately, in the Western world also, more educated or more evolved world also, in some sense, these prejudices are there, still there. And we all have to work together to get out of that.
You know, one way that I like to explain the connectedness is when people have an idea. If, let's say you're watching a TV and there's a commercial and there's a product and you go, I had that idea. I thought of that, and somebody else thought of that. And so I like to think of it that we all can dip our finger into this world consciousness pool of ideas. And some of us will bring the idea to life and others won't. But we're connected in that we all have access to that. And yet, some will take that opportunity and others won't. And I think that in some way that kind of shows how we're consciously connected, but on that level. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In that way. I mean, with quantum physics talks about subatomic particles and that, how we create our own reality. It's almost like being on our own holodeck, like on Star Trek. And our reality is put together by what we want to see, not necessarily what is.
Yes, I was wondering for Sheetal, this is a role that you said was so different from everything you've done before. Was there anything that you took away from having played this character that you've been able to use in your life personally?
Sure. I mean, just kind of taking what I said before, looking at the world with these kind of in a new way, with more kind of grounding but under it has been really great. And it's not something I've kind of left behind. I kind of now, when I see something related or similarly, everything kind of perks up and I'm like, oh, let me read this. And I have a little bit more of a background to kind of understand things a little bit easier. Not quite, but a little bit. And I think, the experience of the film alone stays with you. Like, Frankie just said, you can't unknow what you know. And so I lived it. And so a bit of that.
Well, we got 2 minutes left in the film. And before we run out of time, I do want to thank Sunil Shah, Renu Vora, Sheetal Sheth for coming on the show today. Renu, tell us how we can watch the film or buy the film, before you go. And again, I think your website was thewisdomtreefilm.com. Is that correct?
That's correct, Frankie. Yes.
Okay.
Viewers can go to thewisdomtreefilm.com and they'll be able to buy the DVD, Blu-ray, or streaming right from there.
Nice.
The DVD and Blu-ray is also now available on Amazon. So they can buy from there too. And very soon, the streaming version of the film will be available on Amazon. And we'll be announcing that on our website and Facebook as well. It's going to be available very soon. I would say it's a very, unconventional film, draws from so many diverse disciplines. Mm-hmm. As you've heard, there's science, there's art, there's music, there's mystery, there's compelling human drama, there's amazing unconventional acting, there's unconventional sound design and music. And I would just say, go for the story, go for the mystery, go for science, go for
open your mind.
Fiction, and open your mind. Yes.
There you go. Well, thanks again, everybody. We have run out of time. Brent, thanks for bringing the movies to to us this week instead of just talking about them. And the rest of you, congratulations on a film well done. And
thank you.
I hope that you'll have many, many, many people will download the movie and watch it.
Thank you, Frankie, and thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Shit, now you be the one way to turn my world around. Shit, now you be the one way to make me smile. And they will never know the way I love to grow. Every time you're with me, girl, the world just disappears. Shit, now you be the one I walk with down the aisle. Well, tonight be alright if I open up, Will tonight be alright if I show the world, you're my girl, you're my girl, you're my girl, you're my girl. Against the world, you and I, for you I'll sacrifice. Don't you know when you're here, you bring me paradise. And they will never know the way I love they grow. Every time you're with me, girl, the world just disappears. Shane, now you be the one way every guy they eye. Well, tonight be alright if I open up, Will tonight be alright if I show the world, you're my girl, 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 you're my girl. Shit, now you be the one. Shit, now you be the one. They say you never know what you're up till it goes. That's why I'm screaming now. Say you're my girl, even though say I'm not fine. Still, baby, you are mine. I'ma tell it to the whole wide world. Shit, now you be the one way to turn my world. Shit, now you be the one way to break all the odds. Shit, now you be the one way to make me love. Well, tonight